Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the four-stroke carburetor and how it actually operates, what makes it tick, what makes it work. We're going to cover some of the main items. It'll be a quick video, but nonetheless it'll be a very informative one because today most common issues when it comes to our lawn equipment, which we still deal with the carburetor, unlike our vehicles. These are very common. There are fuel injection equipment out there for the outdoor power equipment, OPE, but the carburetor is still one of our main fuel delivery systems that we have in our equipment. Remember the Tecumseh Manufacturing Company? They went bankrupt around, let's say 30 years ago, give or take. They were the Sears biggest, Sears was their biggest customer. If you bought a Sears mower, it's going to come with a Tecumseh end, and they're still around. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this carburetor because it's very common, and you're still going to see it at times. This came with your primer bulb right here, and it was for the fuel delivery directly into the venturi portion of the carburetor. What is the venturi? You notice that I did a cutaway in this carburetor. And you may notice that it restricts right at the center, right about here. What makes the fuel go up and right into Bernoulli's principle. Basically what we do when the piston is in the downstroke, in the intake, it creates a vacuum in this area, a low pressure area, which pushes fuel up the emulsion tube, and it crashes with the wind or the air coming in from your air filter, which is stated that it comes in at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. So it's coming in very, very fast. So when it crashes with that droplet of fuel, it atomizes it. It breaks it down into tiny little particles because down in your combustion chamber, you're not burning a liquid. You're burning atomization, fuel, and air. But nonetheless, this is how it works. Here's a couple of I'm going to get a close-up of this area and try to see the best we can. See those little ports? There are 4 little tiny ports. Carburetors today. This one has one covering up all the 3 ports in the back, with the exception of the one in the front. That is your idle port. So when this unit, when you're mowing the yard and you stop for a second and the mower's still running at idle, this little guy's feeding the fuel. That's the only one feeding the fuel. So if these guys get plugged up, which they do, they're very tiny. It only takes the tiny piece of debris, sand, grit, or whatever. So what you do is grab your a wire brush and take one of the strands out and just poke it, clear them up. When you're cleaning them, when you're servicing them. Fast idle, as long as you're working with it, it's working good. But as soon as you throttle down, it dies. Most of the time, that's the culprit right there. Your idle port. And delivering fuel, we can't allow vapor lock to happen down here because it won't deliver any fuel. So by adding these ports right there in the intake side of the carburetor, them are removable. Most of your removable ones you can clean. They're going to have, it's going to be a brass tubing, basically is what it is. You're going to have a bunch of tiny holes in there. The reason for the tiny holes on this emulsion tube is for fuel to start breaking up before it ever makes it up here to the venturi area. So we got vaporization and atomization happening, and it all happens through the repositioning of the piston. Here's where your primer button goes. You could see the ports, the hose that are in there, an auto choke, and of course your primer system that happens. Different ways to choke the carburetor. And by choking it, it means that you're running a rich fuel mixture, less air, more fuel. For the Welch plugs that you see inside. Here's where the bowl goes. Okay, so you have a bowl float again, and you have a bowl covering this whole area up. This is the bottom of the carburetor. There's going to be circuitry in there, or more ports, and they're capped off with Welch plugs. Now these, theoretically, we're supposed to remove them and clean in there because there's more porting happening in there, and there is dirt and debris that gathers in there. So even though you do a carb kit, but you don't replace your Welch plugs, chances are you're going to have problems. It may or may not start. And these carburetors, and little BB looking caps as well. They, there's more porting that happens. Manufacturers drill through these holes. A drill bit that curves or moves or gets into a 90-degree doesn't happen. So they have to do it through different portings. That porting right there, down in there, there's a seat, a Viton material seat. And you got a needle that's moving up and down, delivering fuel and capping it off as we go so it doesn't flood. But don't forget to get a special tool. And it does have a port in the middle, has a hole in the middle, and you poke it in. And you bring it, you draw that seat out and it gets replaced. It only goes in one, it can go in any way, two ways, but only one way correctly to make it work. Make sure you pay close attention to the lettering, the numbering that's on the top of that little rubber seat. So when you pull it out, you pull the other ones exactly the way you took it out. If you put it in upside down, guarantee you 100% it will flood, it will leak fuel, and you will be unhappy. Anyways, thought I'd give you that. Please don't forget to comment, subscribe.